All right, I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit and see if anybody decides to come join us. This is this is a real weird setup. I'm kind of like Dave at Come On Homestead. I just put in a brand new computer system running Windows 11. My monitor to my right is where this video is playing. My monitor to the left can be doing something totally different. So it's like running two computers at once. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I really wanted this to go up on the other one. So when I'm looking at the camera, I can see the live chat without having to turn my head like this to see who's saying what. So it's kind of weird. I will figure it out. I will figure it out. If it means I'm plugging them and plugging them into the opposites and doing it that way, then that'll work. So I don't know. Speaking of comments, I actually didn't even open up the comment section. There we go. Hey, David Glunt, how we doing? Again, I have to look over here, and if it was on this other monitor right here, it would be right in front of my face, which would be really good. Hey, there's Sir Paul Honeyman. How you doing, sir? How have you been doing, actually? Because you've had me concerned. You were disappeared for a while there again for people, and I'll be honest with you. They asked me the first time, and I shared what was going on because you shared it with me. But now I have to ask. I have to ask. How are you doing health wise, Paul? Because that's kind of important. Everybody wants to know where's Paul? What's Paul doing? And now you're back again, and it's like, okay, well he's here now. I mean, we did lose a really good YouTube subscriber to all the channels and stuff, and that was a shock. I'll be honest with you. I shared it last Saturday. That was a shock. Nobody expected that one to come around. All right. So anyway, we'll get on with the show. I guess that's what they call it. We'll get on with the show. We'll get it going, and we'll do what we got to do. Okay. So I've had some. You beat pneumonia again? Yeah. COPD. I hear you, brother. And asthma took a hit. Yeah, it was a shock. Was Lyle Noon? It was. It was a bad shock. And I've known Lila for like 3 years now, and I actually got to meet her at one point in time. So that was like hard. Arlene, how we doing? Again, for those just coming in, I have the David Come On Homesteading set up with two monitors. I can run one thing on one, I can run something else on the other and be able to switch back and forth. But what I wasn't able to do was take this video and bring it over here so I can see the comments without having to turn my head and look way over here where they would be right here beside me, and I'd be looking at the camera and reading the comments at the same time. I will figure it out. Worst case scenario, like I say, I'll just unplug the two monitors, switch them, and plug them back in again, and I think that'll take care of that problem. I'm not sure, but it's weird. I opened StreamYard on this monitor over here, and it came up on this one, so I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Well, Mr. Glunt, if you want to put another seed order in, I'm not going to tell you you can't. Actually, if you're going to be putting in another order, before you do that, we are going to be sponsoring starting again this year. We are going to be sponsoring some other channels. I'm trying to get Simple Life Reclaimed invested in it, and I'm definitely trying to get White Rock Homestead invested in it. Tara and I are in talks. I want to start donating seeds to channels. The more viewers they have, the better chance they're going to get to be one that I do sponsor. But they don't have to be a huge channel. I mean, you could have, say, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers, and I would sponsor that channel because them 10,000 subscribers could be potentially 10,000 customers to me. So I'm not looking to make a fortune at this. Not that I'm not, but you know, yes, Paul, I did that too. I did that too, and I hope they went to a good cause afterwards. Actually, I think the last one that was gifted to Lila was a T-shirt, and that wasn't all that long ago. It wasn't. It was actually rather recently. So anyway, in my life, I have, as you know, I went and got stitches in my finger because I was stupid and cut it. And I'm gonna try to put my finger in front of in front of the camera so you can actually see it. Because right now I can just say, "There's my finger. That's the one that was all stitched up." But let me give you a better view. That's my mangled finger. I haven't been able to cut the nail on it because of it being wrapped up all the time. But if I actually turn it around, it's not really showing that way too well. Let me turn it around this way instead. See if I can do this. There we go. I got a little smiley gremlin face in my finger. I play guitar, and I don't foresee me playing guitar again, at least not anytime soon. And I own a lot of them. I own a lot of them. Actually, I had it right here beside me. I don't know what I did with it. I had to rearrange my office in order to put this new computer system together. But I actually have a list of all the band equipment and guitars and stuff I want to get rid of because, first of all, I want to downsize. That room that my guitars and my music is in, that was my music room. But now that's like a t-shirt storage area. It's totally separated from the rest of the upstairs so that my smoking in my office doesn't carry over onto the clothes. And I do my best with that, you know. It's actually closed off, and it's you got to go through one room to get into that room in order to make it work. But yeah, I haven't been playing music. I've been on disability for 3 years, and anyone that's been on disability would just like automatically assume, oh, you've had all kinds of time to sit around and play guitar and do this and do that. And to be honest with you, I've been busier since I've been on disability than I was when I wasn't. As hard as that is to sound, that's exactly what it's been like. And it's just one of those things. Wow, I didn't know that Wiley did that. That's awesome, Paul. That's awesome. So basically, I've got one guitar that I have no intentions of selling. It took me all of my life to finally go out and buy. But I've got a six-string banjo. I've got another hollow body electric guitar that was a replica of the one my dad used to play. I've got a Fender. I've got another one. I don't know what it is. Squire, I guess. I don't know. But I've got all these guitars and all this other stuff. Plus, I've got a PA system and a really big guitar amp. And if I'm not playing, I don't need this stuff around. The one guitar I'm not going to get rid of ever. That's my baby. I've got another one that's a folk style guitar that's a 12 string, and that thing has stayed in tune since the day I bought it. I've never had to tune it again, and that thing is awesome. But I got to get rid of it. I don't have a need for it. Um, I have been working hard out in my garage. I got the dumpster. I think it's an 8x10 with like 3 foot sides on it. I've probably got it a quarter full right now, and I've got more stuff I want to put into it. But if anybody watches Ryan Hall Y'all, you should know that I am looking at some pretty serious weather coming up. They're saying 3 to 5 inches tonight by midnight, and another 3 to 5 inches by tomorrow morning. My snowplow guy is ready to go, and I actually thought I was just going to go out. I was going to put a 10 by 10 canopy frame up over top of it. I bought a big tarp. I was going to throw the tarp over the top of it, try to keep the snow out of the dumpster. And the more I thought about it, the more I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a salamander heater that I've loaned to a friend of mine just down the road because they had to run it under their trailer to fix frozen water lines. And I told him, I says, well, I haven't been using it. I don't really need it right now. Keep it at your house. Use it for like heating your garage because they go out and smoke in their garage. They won't smoke in their house. And I was like, well, just use it in the garage or whatever. And, I know where it's at. It's not a big issue. And I was thinking, if we do get the snow, I don't want to pay to have that hauled off in the dumpster. But what I can do is I can take that big tarp that I bought, put it over that dumpster, put the heater in the front of it where the door opens up, and just run it for maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, melt whatever snow's in there out, and now I'm not paying to have all the snow hauled away. So that's hey Charlene, how we doing? So that way I'm not having to worry about paying all this extra money for snow, because that would be stupid on my part, and I refuse to be stupid on that part. But I have gotten a lot of my garage cleaned out. Like I say, that dumpster is only about a quarter full, but I can actually walk around. I actually went in, bought a broom, and went in and started sweeping it. Yeah, speaking of that, this is a funny one. When I went to Harbor Freight today to buy that tarp, as I was cashing out, I had a push broom that was $8.99, and I had the tarp that was $20. And the guy at the register, he was funny. I like that guy. I could sit and chit and chat with him all day long. He was funnier than crap. He didn't even know we had snow coming, and he lives right here where I do. But I told him why I needed to buy the tarp, and he's like, "Well, yeah, snow coming," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yeah." And he got lost, and I was like, "By the way, I am a Trek Club member." And he's like, "Oh, okay, wait a minute. I was asking you that, but I forgot." And he finally finished it out, and he says, "Oh, hey, you got like an $8.30 credit on your account. Do you want to use it?" And I was like, "Yeah, because that's an $8.99 broom. Of course I want to use it. You just gave me a free broom. Why wouldn't I want to use it?" But I brought all that stuff home, and as I've been going through the garage, I've been noticing things. Every tool in my garage, all right, let me back up just a little bit. My garage did not have a good cement floor in it. So my employee and I spent days out there chipping out the bad parts of the cement, vacuuming it out, and then putting in what they call auto leveler on the floor to level the floor back out. And then we put a hardwood floor on top of that with an insulator underneath it. And the reason for that was because every tool in my wood shop has casters underneath it to make it easy to move in and out of the garage or pull around and do different things with them and tuck them away when you're done. While I was out there, I realized that the one tool that I'm going to need to be able to use, probably not the most, but a lot, when I do my stairs, is that I need access to my router table. I don't want to put a bull nose across the front, the round nose that most stairs come with. I don't want to do a bull nose. I want kind of a square nose, but I have to round off that sharp edge on the top edge of every step. And that means it has to be run through the router. And what I found was that my router table has no casters underneath it. I did find the casters, and they're locking casters. They're on a shelf. And I'm like, why are these up here and not underneath that? That doesn't make sense to me. Where that router sits right now, I'm going to have to unbury it because it's behind a lot of stuff to get it out into the open floor area that I just cleaned out, to be able to tip it down and put the casters back on it and then tip it back up. So when I get done using it, I can move it out of the way like it's supposed to be. And then I can pull something else out, use it, put it back where it's out of the way. That's the whole purpose of having casters on everything, and the whole purpose, hey, Melvin, Donnie, how we doing? That's the whole purpose of having everything on casters, and the purpose of going in and leveling this floor out and putting down the hardwood flooring and making it look pretty and all that stuff. When I first went out there and started cleaning it out, the first thing I noticed is there was a push broom out there that had no bristles hardly left at all on the head, and it had no handle. And I'm like, that broom was brand new 5 years ago when I put it in that garage. The whole purpose of that broom was to keep the garage clean. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where all these bristles went. I don't know if he was using them for painting stuff, cutting them off or whatever, but they're missing. So for them to give me that new broom was cool. But I actually had to go out and get another broom so that I could sweep the floor. After I got it to where I could see it, I had to sweep it. And I had no broom out there. And I'm like, okay, this is BS. I found 2 dustpans and not a single broom. And my girlfriend even went out there, Leah, she went out there and she's looking around and she's like, why isn't there a broom in the garage? And I'm like, I don't know. There's always been a broom in the garage. Always, at least one. I know 2. I don't know where the regular like sweeping broom went, but I found the push broom and it was trashed. And I'm like, I have no idea where the other one went. So I got another one out there. I swept the floor, and then of course today I got the free push broom. That was pretty cool. As the weather breaks, we're talking probably mid-April. I'm hoping somewhere around there. I'm going to be able to go out and order a truckload of crusher run stone and extend my driveway across the yard out to where I want to build my new garage. It's not going to be a huge tractor trailer load, but it'll be probably a good dump truck load anyway, a big dump truck. And there's room. You know, I checked for the wire height and where they got to dump and all that, and it should be fine. And then I got to get a bobcat or something in here to like level it out, pack it down and whatnot. And then the regular dump trucks can start backing all the way out to where I want to fill in my backyard area and bring that up to level. And I'm hoping that I can do it. I don't know. It's one of them deals where there's a farmer's field out behind me, but right behind my garage there's an old barn foundation, and that should hold back a lot of the dirt that I want to dump over. And then I think it's like another 20 feet back after that barn foundation before it even gets to the farmer's field. So that'll give me my 30-foot area that I want to fill in. And of course, you know, I'm going to be hiring excavators and all that stuff to come in, move that dirt around. And once that's filled in, I don't want them to stop. If I can afford it, I don't want them to stop. I want them to keep going, because every bit of my backyard, all the way down from where the end of our property is, all the way down to past the garage, maybe another 60 feet past the garage, the land goes down like this, goes through a woodlot, and then that's where the farmer's field starts. So I want to try to build all of it up and also level off the yard at the same time to be able to get this thing so that I'm adding more usable property to my property. I've got 0.59 acres. It makes sense to be able to get access to it, because right now I'm really only using maybe 0.3, I guess. Yeah, probably 0.3. So I've got all these things that I want to get done. I do know the foundation for the garage is going to cost me about $9,000. That's what I was quoted. It's going to be bigger than the garage just because, you know, I want it bigger than the garage. The flat part of it will be for the garage, and then it'll taper off on all 4 sides so water hits and runs off. That's fine. I don't care about that. But it's going to be bigger than the garage, and the garage itself is $11,000 delivered and installed. So that's 20 grand right there on its own. I don't know what all this fill work is going to cost me or any of that. And right now, I don't care. I mean, if I can afford to do it, I'm doing it. If I can't afford to do it, then this year I'm going to work on getting that all leveled out, bring in some topsoil on top, and just plant grass and make it lawn. Do as much of it as I can. That I know I can afford. That I know I can afford. I can invest $10,000 into this property and I'm good. I'm maintaining $4,000 to pay for my truck to get out of the shop because that's still not home yet. And it's been here almost a year. And I don't know how long it's going to be before I get it back. I really don't. I was hoping that I would have had it back before the end of camping season last year. And that wasn't going to happen. I've actually been looking at other trucks, so I would like to find another truck. Yeah, I'm actually waiting to see what happens because I'm still out on workman's comp from my regular job. I've never been released to go back to work, and because I haven't been released, it's been over 3 years, my job is no longer available. And because I'm now working for myself and paying myself to work for me, they have to pay the difference of what my job was paying me then compared to what I'm paying myself now. So I'm kind of hoping. Hey, there's Greg and Gina. So I'm kind of hoping that it works out to where they're going to give me like a really big check for the difference. I mean, the loss of use of my foot parts and all that stuff, it'll play into it a little bit. Of course, lawyers are going to get a third no matter what I got, so they'll be happy. Hey, Greg, well, while you're on here with me, Mr. Brink, um, I am 3 steps closer to being able to make that trip with you in May. We just hired another girl. Her son's been working for us on the weekends for a while, but we just hired his mother to work for us. And she has a vehicle. She lives pretty close by. So if Leah needs to go anywhere or Mel needs to be taken to the post office or whatever, we can have them do that stuff. So I am really, really ready, almost perfectly ready to be able to make that trip with you, sir. And I'm looking forward to it. I will say that there are going to be a lot of YouTube channels that won't be going. Simple Life Reclaimed, Melanie just said today that they are not going to be going to any of the meetups this year because they're going to be concentrating on doing what they already told people they would do by helping friends and doing a little local traveling and just helping other people out. And of course, you've got Does Crazy Life looking at buying an abandoned cabin nearby, and she needs help. And Gary promised her he would go over and help her. Hey, Big Italian, how we doing? He promised her that they would be going over there and helping her with what she needs to get done at the log cabin so it's ready to move in and go forward with it or whatever. So they won't be there. Um, David Warren from Come On Homesteading, he's got so much stuff going on. I'm really not sure he's going to be doing any of them this year either because, he just finished wrapping up the tiny house, or most of it anyway. It's not totally wrapped up, but it probably is now. But now he's ready to start working on the cabin, and then after the cabin's done, he's going to be doing something else. Plus, he bought the other property next to Gary and Melanie, and he's getting ready to do some work over there and building another tiny house. And I don't know. I don't picture him being there. Hey, there's Judy, the Big Italian's other half. Sorry, Judy. I try to put it out there pretty good, but I don't know. Yeah, and we got Jay Granatles with us. How you doing, hon? I know Mike and Alyssa Smith have every intention of going to every one of them that they can possibly go to. White Rock Homestead has something coming up. They may or they may not be able to make it. I'm not sure. I haven't heard any confirmation from them yet. The Whites are a crazy couple, and sometimes they just hook the camper up and say, okay, heck with it. We're going to take a weekend and just go do something. So they may. But it depends because I know that Simple Life Reclaimed and them have been talking about doing a project together. So I don't know when that's going to happen. Mama B will probably be at all of them, as far as I know. I haven't heard anything different from her yet. And there's some other channels that, you hear things and you just don't know, you know. Ridge Life, he's got so much going on over there that it's hard to say whether he'll show up at the meetups or not. He may. He's retired now, so it's not like he's on the clock. So he may. I don't know. I really haven't talked to him too much on that one yet. Um, but there's, Anthony and Roxanne. They probably will be going to most of the meetups this year. Their thing is, rather than running a site, you're going to find somebody that has a camper on a site and they're going to park their tent behind the camper. Oh, wow. Well, let's set you guys back up there. I don't know how that happened, but my camera just said, hey, let's go look at the ceiling. Charlene, how we doing? But yeah, I don't know. I I really want to think that there's going to be a lot of people able to make the meetups. And I mean, Mike and Terry, MT Homestead, they'll be there. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of others that'll show up as well. And it's always there. It's always there. There's always people that are going to show up, and maybe they're channels we don't watch. That was my thing when we went to Lake Killer in 23, was that I met so many people who I didn't even know had channels. Peter was a good example. Old Man King Homestead. I did not know Peter had a channel till that day. I follow him kind of somewhat. I'm not religious on following him. I don't even know if I'm subscribed to his channel. I don't believe that I am. Uh, Bobblehead Homestead, he was there. Drew was there. That whole meetup was just get to meet everybody. I met Annie Ann and all these other moderators and stuff. And it was just an all around fun weekend to spend with people. And no matter where it happens, no matter who shows up, I can almost guarantee it's going to be the same deal. It's going to be a fun weekend where you get to meet new people, and that's always a plus. Always a plus. All right, well, guys, I've been on here going on a half an hour, and I really don't have any more to share with anybody right now. So I'm going to cut this one short tonight. I thank you for joining me. If you haven't, give me a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll catch y'all. I don't think next week's going to work, but maybe the weekend after next will. So everybody have a good night, and we'll catch you later.